Welcome to the GardeningDad.com's gardening school. My name is Paul, and in today's course, I'm going to teach you how to prune your rose bushes no matter where you live. Not only that, I'm going to teach you common mistakes that gardeners make when pruning their rose bushes. So let's begin. There's two different times that you're going to prune your rose bushes, no matter where you live. One is going to be in early spring, before those flowers bloom, right when those buds are starting to grow on, and then the second time is throughout summer. In this course, we're not going to go over the initial pruning in early spring. Instead, we're going to focus on how to get more blooms in summer. There's several different tips I'm going to give you, and then I'll show you a demonstration. Tip number one, as soon as those rose petals fall off your bush, you're going to immediately go ahead and prune your rose. Step number two, or tip number two, as soon as the colors on those rose petals or rose blooms start to fade, I like to go ahead and prune those. You do that, they're going to come back a lot quicker. Any type of dead wood that you have growing throughout summer, you're going to go ahead and prune that. Tip number four, any branches that seem to be getting in the way, you're going to go ahead and prune that. We want to be careful not to over prune though in the summer because it will kill your plant. And then tip number five, the simplest one, is making sure that you're applying some sort of sealant on those rose bushes if you notice that any type of sap seems to be coming out of it. So again, 5 very simple tips to pruning your rose bushes in summer. Number one, pruning it as soon as those petals fall off. Number two, if you notice the color on those blooms start to fade, go ahead and prune them. Number three, making sure we prune out any type of dead wood. Last thing we want is the nutrients going to plants that parts of the plants that don't need it. Number four, any type of branches that seem to be sticking out and aren't doing much, you can go ahead and prune it. And then number five, very simply, we're going to want to put some sort of sealant on that. Today we won't. This rose bush is pretty healthy. Last tip I have, and it has nothing to do with pruning, you want more blooms all summer long, try to go for a knockout or a double knockout. You'll enjoy rose blooms well into the late fall, even sometimes the early winter. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you a quick demonstration on how to properly prune this rose bush. All right, so here's my rose bush. I've purposely let it kind of take course so that I can do this video. So tip number one, these petals have fallen off, and as you can see, all I want to do, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom out, is just prune them so that they can grow. And let's get another one. And where I'm going to prune them, if you can see, is really at the base of that stem. So kind of the base of the stem where it meets the leaves, you do that, you're going to notice more fresh blooms are going to grow. Number two, and I'm going to find one, here's a rose petal. It's kind of faded a little bit in color. Also, Japanese beetles have gone to it, so very simply, same type of deal. I'm going to go ahead and prune that one off. Next tip, look at this dead wood. I either forgot to do it this year or for whatever reason just came a little bit later. So very simply, same deal here. I'm just going to go ahead, prune all of this off. I won't do it all right now, but that kind of gives you an idea. Last piece, you can tell there's a funky branch sticking out here. I mean, theoretically, I think it's dead, but regardless, even if it wasn't, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And even this one, nice kind of branch, but isn't doing much for me, so we're going to go ahead and prune it. Again, I want to be careful not to over prune this rose bush for the pure purpose of making sure we don't kill it. Again, if I notice any type of sap, I'm going to go ahead and apply a sealant to that. And shortly, we're going to go ahead and talk about the common mistakes gardeners make when pruning their rose bushes. All right, now that I gave you a demonstration on how to prune those rose bushes, let's talk a little bit around the common mistakes gardeners make when pruning their rose bushes. Talked about this earlier, but the most common one is over pruning in the summer. You're going to add stress on that fruit tree. I said fruit tree, I was pruning fruit trees earlier. You're going to add stress onto that rose bush and it's not needed, and you probably will get less blooms. The second one is waiting too long. The longer you wait, the more nutrients are going to go to parts of the plant that just aren't going to be fruitful. So again, make sure when you're pruning, we're going to prune as soon as we see those petals fall off, those colors changing. Another part is not pruning that dead wood. Make sure you're getting rid of that dead wood or that excess branches that aren't useful early in the season. And then again, finally, making sure that, you know, a common mistake I typically see is that people prune way too far down to the ground. You just have to do it where that kind of, that rose bud or rose petal is going to meet the stem. You do it there, you're going to notice more and more roses are going to grow and they're going to bloom, and you'll enjoy it all summer. Planted this years ago. Typically it blooms sometime in May and it goes all the way through November. Especially if the warmer weather stays, I'll have blooms throughout the entire year. This is a double knockout. I have one behind the greenhouse that is just your modern rose bush. Prune it the same way, has the exact same success. So again, I showed you 5 simple tips. I gave you a demonstration and talked through common mistakes of pruning your rose bushes. If you want to learn about the 15 most effective ways to prune your rose bushes, both in the spring and the summer, check out thegardeningdad.com. I appreciate you watching this video. Please like, subscribe, share, and as always, check out thegardeningdad.com. Thank you and have a great day.